but they need to utilize the fact that they do have the stronger solo laners. They do have the range engaged with stuff like an Ashe Arrow and get a lead.
Yeah. Now, absolutely looking at these runes, I mean, we have the Comet. Sometimes it's Electrocute for the Zyra. Going to go Comet this game for Lalva. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of immobility out of the people you'll hit. You know, the Lemus, Kurak, as well as Schönfire. You're going to get value out of that Comet. And on the other side, it's going to be a press the attack Israel, which sometimes is press the attack, sometimes is Conqueror. I don't really understand the use cases of having either of them. Chi-Chi is in a very deep flanking position. Enso constantly slowed up, and this is the power of that Ashe early game. But ultimately, Enso should be okay to be able to recall and get back to lane, but we still have to be a little bit concerned with Chi-Chi, although Lemus instead going for a ward than the pressure.
Gonna potentially just sit here and chunk someone that he can find out. But, you know, one of the things you can do with the Karthus that a lot of people don't do, right, is you can use the champ at level 1 and invade these camps. But what tends to happen is the map split, you know, messes up your second cycle of camps, and that's why we see, you know, Schönfire, someone who plays the Karthus a lot, you know, never really go for that. He always just likes to go for the full clears. It tends to happen when he gets invaded in the games, actually. You know, on the second clear, he has a camp lead and experience lead, and all of a sudden nullifies the initial invade. So, you know, good to see that they are, you know, recognizing that and not just fully committing to the invade based off what lead they were able to garner there at level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, looking at early game, Lalva got a pretty interesting clear path. I don't typically see, especially on champs like the Zyra, going for that Raptors and then crossing to the bottom side. Generally, it's like you do just your buff, you know, you do your buff, usually red buff into sort of doing the Krugs over the wall with that smite, and you can aim for a very early clear time. I don't know if Alcio do this, but one of the focuses of sort of the split that we've had here in the PCS, and it started on week 1, week 2, is they've had like a running competition of who's had the fastest clear time. There's a couple of players like around that 3-minute mark, like 2 minutes 58, 2 minutes 59, 3 minutes. But the fastest was Junja, and Junja got a time of 2 minutes and 54 seconds on Zyra.
Of course it was.
Which is ridiculous. But like, you know, other than that, 665 as well, he was very close up there. And as people that know how to play Zyra, they're just, you know, they get to clear their camp and then look for a dive before the scuttle even comes up. It's ridiculous how much value you can find out of this champion if you do path optimally. But I think the way that Lalva's done it's certainly not going to be optimal, and probably going to finish up roughly the same time, in fact, behind the time of Schönfire here, as Enso's going to get knocked back far away from his tower. Ignite going to be put down on him. He's going to have to flash away. Does look for that stun flash. Is going to be committed here. Lemus trying to find that last auto attack, and he certainly will. It's first blood for that superstar AD carry of the LCO, as Schönfire, you just touched on it, has arrived in the bot lane. Flash pulverized and headbutt for Chi-Chi. He's looking for a kill, but what a disaster. Not popping the barrier, not getting the kill. 2-0 start for Lemus in this bot lane.
And this is the mistake we saw Bliss do yesterday. They were trading aggressively on the weak side. J-Team being the ones to do it this time. Don't even have the jungler interact. It's just a straight 2v2 from the side of Ground Zero. And this is what I was talking about. This power of this bot lane from Ground Zero. They're exceptional laners, pretty much. They never ever had bad times in these lanes in Oceania, but they were also never really tested. So it's good to see coming internationally against these really good bot laners, they can match up. And I think that, you know, Enso going aggressive here was a huge mistake for, you know, the overall map state.
Yeah, I said it in draft, right, is that this should feel like a pretty even support matchup, especially in lane, unless you make a mistake as the Leona. And I mean, this is probably the only mistake that I could think of that he could make at this stage of the game to find himself getting taken out, and then Chi-Chi playing way too over-aggressive here, as he's just constantly trying to find damage onto an Alistair, but certainly regretting it now. Yeah, fantastic start for Ground Zero. Favorites to win the game and making it look like it. Chi-Chi has ended up under the tower here of Ground Zero. That's a third kill in the bot lane and just the 2v2. Looking for a fourth here. Yeah, Enso no flash, and here's a Leona. There's an Ashe. You've got no way out of here. Not tanky enough to get out. Pulverize going to seal the deal as Lemus picks up his third.
Maybe we'll get to see the replay there, but I'm pretty sure that was just correct hex flashing over the wall and catching Chi-Chi off guard, because there's just honestly no way that Alistair should be able to get into that position to find the Q knockback or the knockback with the W into the tower at that point. But yeah, I think he's just caught off guard from the fog of war. Really good pickup by correct.
Oh, dearie me.
But
I thought it was going to be a pulverize. It was not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And this is an amazing start for the LCO. This is exactly what we wanted from this comp. We thought that Ground Zero's team was going to be worse off in the 5v5 in a straight front-to-back sense, but because they can get this lead in the early game, now that they have this Ashe who's so strong, they have priority on the bot side all the time. Now, Kurak freed up to roam around the map, maybe impact the grubs that are coming up in just under a minute. If Schoenfire doesn't want to go for a dragon early as well, or potential dive, but heavy trading here.
Yeah, Chi-Chi getting taken down very low, but so is Lemus here. Just the boots. It means that he is a lot more mobile, gets a little bit more attack speed, but not the whole lot that you'd want in that combat advantage that generally you'd get out of other items. But still, he is going to remain alive, and Chi-Chi with Schoenfire down here is going to feel pressured, not going to be able to get anywhere near his wave, but eventually should be able to. Lakai, though, he's being looked at here by 10 on the weak side of the map, but finding a favorable trade. Lakai, though, yeah, he's managed to find his way out of it, and now Thien, one more attack would do it, but no, the movement speed, the fleet footwork's going to make it even more impossible, and back in will Lakai come. There's a mistake out of Tien, that top laner, and J-Team have found maybe an avenue back.
And they've definitely, they've found a winning lane. This is actually a new look as well. We've never seen Ground Zero be the team to trade the dragon for the grubs. This is probably just Schoenfire adapting to the map state. His bot lane being so strong, he wants to be around here and potential, dive any, potential bad trades that will happen from the J-Team bot lane. Is looking for these can respawns, but he's not really sure about where the Zyra did start, and that's the creative pathing coming out of him. He's really abusing the fact he's not going to lose his cans because he did start with this, Raptors into Wolves, which is not something that is really common over in the LCO.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it is the Void Grubs traded. We have a somewhat winning lane in Lakai up in this top side, 10 as well. No flash, does have to be a little bit careful of his hookshot usage. In particular now, if Lalva does continue to spend some time up in this top side of the map. And it was just, Tien certainly winning out on the trade, but unfortunately not able to find anything more, and Minji narrowly is going to dodge out of that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Almost certain death if that connected from base.
Absolute certain death. That stun lasting up to 3.5 seconds with Fido being able to just land a full culling into him would have been, a very easy kill. But Tien, no flash,
hook shot, but is he going to be able to get anywhere to use it? It doesn't seem like it. Maybe just going to have to run towards this tower, and he's under it now, but he's going to get slowed up, and that tower shot almost takes him out. One more Q will do it. Does miss. Tien, can he find a way out of this? I don't think it should be possible, but he's got some fancy footwork. The snare eventually will land, and Lalva claims that kill. Probably the person you want the kill on ultimately there for J-Team, but Tien delaying some time there is going to mean that Lakai does miss out on a few minions, but still, Tien needs to stop bleeding any of these kills over. He does have a 3-0 Ash. He just has to maintain somewhat of an even CS score and probably looking good to win this game.
The copium there is that he's always, every time he dies, his wave is, pretty much crashed or in a position where he's not going to lose as much golden experience. So every time he walks back to lane, he's going to catch the bounce and overall not lose out in the levels department. And it's just a lot of freedom for the rest of his team as well, knowing that this jungle is putting a lot of pressure towards the top side. Means that, the weak point of Ground Zero in Fido that we thought was going to be having a hard time. The mid lane's actually doing really well to stay up and stay even. Is that winning matchup, is maintaining priority, but hold on.
Lalva going to get locked out here. Does manage to get his flash off, gets that Stranglethorns out, and Kurek's getting very, very low. Oh, the Zenith Blade from downtown. Kurek's going to get taken out. It's one more auto attack there for Chi-Chi, who gets himself a kill on the board. Now Fido does arrive at the team fight. Minji coming in from base as this blue buff still being contested. Lalva, no sums, no ults. It's going to feel pretty rough. No smize, and Minji claims himself that blue buff. It's from bad to worse, and that little trade there is J-Team pick up some small wins around the map, even in that bottom side.
A bit of a disconnection there. We see that Schoenfire just committing to stealing away the buff as Kurak goes in, and it's just, no ult to himself there, so he's not going to be able to tank that one up, especially when there is a lot of that response damage that comes through. Even though Ezreal is weak, he has really high base damage if he can land these mystic shots all the time, but still, this game state is favoring Ground Zero. They have the lead. They still have, priority in pretty much every single lane. Even with Tien going down, he's still not finding himself being frozen on or being pushed away. He still has the, the Requiem that can come out of Schoenfire at any point if he does create some vulnerability towards this Nara in the top side. So I think that so far, the laning phase is good, but I think Ground Zero's strength has always been their mid game, their macro, and how they just have no hesitation when it comes to engages.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worrying, right, that Chi-Chi got a kill back, but you look at that CS difference. It's a 40 CS lead for Lemus at the time that we're looking right now, and obviously a little bit will be gathered back now by Chi-Chi as the wave does hit his tower, but it is Lemus who is so far ahead. He's almost got that Blade of the Ruined King picked up. On the other side, though, on our screens right here, 20 CS in favor of Lakai on that Nara. Tien getting zoned away from any further CSing here, but Lemus, yeah, you say it, coming up to this top side, maybe looking for that swap. I actually don't think I like the swap. Personally. Maybe it's a contest for these grubs, but I think just going for the dragons more and more feels good considering you have that side lane priority. You're not worried about the grubs that much.
I think that this is probably an ideal scenario for Ground Zero because they're going to swap, they're going to secure the grubs. If these lanes do stay the way they are, Tien can always just teleport down, but I'll hold my point.
Oh yeah, everything flowing at Lakai here. That's the whole kitchen sink, and Tien will be able to pick himself up a bit of gold there. Confirms himself the kill. It was a nice roam, and they are certainly getting something for this lane swap. On the other side, though, Chi-Chi's going to be getting himself some gold back. And Enso and Lalva do arrive here, so maybe one plate does go over to Lemus, and Void Grubs will be started up by Surenfire, you see there on the mini-map.
And, you know, this is what I was talking about. Tien can just walk down to the bot and play the 1v1 against Chi-Chi. Both the weakest members of their each of their respectable teams, so they're going to be happy laning against each other, be able to get some free farm at this point. Chi-Chi does pick himself up 2 plates, so he is happy with that outcome, but overall Ground Zero is going to be the winner of this map state. And now, with this priority, with the fact that grubs are gone, they're probably just going to, you know, catch these waves, swap back, and look for the dragons, their next objective.
Absolutely. Now, Enso looking for something around this top side, getting vision. I mean, the dragon does spawn. Lalva going to start it up there with his plants. We'll see if he actually goes for it, just angling so he can try and look for that Scuttle Crab at the same time, but does miss the root on the Scuttle Crab, does Lalva, and not going to really be able to find it until this dragon goes down, but this dragon is certainly going down. It's a Leandri's picked up there. Fido going aggressive, a definite mistake there, has to flash away, drops the thumbs up, and has a bit of a laugh on his face there in that player cam. Does get, of course, that lightning crash out of Minji on the Zeri, but loses the flash for it. Chi-Chi going to get slowed up. Arcane Shift over that wall, and not going to commit the Ash ult yet. I think it's not quite up. Maybe a couple seconds left on that cooldown.
So, yeah, just a couple seconds till that one has come back up. Both blades being finished on the carries for the side of Ground Zero. Surenfire also with his jungle item completed. The Zyra also has the one completed, but a fight is happening.
So going aggressive, yeah, flash away from Surenfire, and maybe going to be able to stop any aggression here. Will the side of J-Team. Stranglethorn still available, and it does mean this Karthus can be quite vulnerable. Correct, though. Unbreakable will available, and Chi-Chi actually trading very aggressively. All Xenoblade connects, it's onto Kurak. He's going to be completely fine, though. He pops that ultimate. Now, Enso's in no man's land, and Shadow Crystal Arrow does go wide. Lemus getting hit there by that Mystic Shot. Enso certainly going to go down. Lemus picking up yet another kill. That's the 4th of the game here for this. Ash is Lalva going to commit that Stranglethorns. Kurak, no flash. Flash actually found there onto Lalva. It's a trade. Lemus gets that kill on the bottom side, comes up, and Fido secures himself one as well. But the sniper way there from Minji on the Zeri is able to trade one back for himself. But a big win for Ground Zero as LCO looks dominant in game number 1.
And it's just crazy to me the fact that J-Team is trying to contest this 3v3. If you just press tab and look at the inventories and the player power that Lemus has right now, he is so strong. And Crack is being the one in front all the time. He's trying to pose himself as the target for the enemy team. The moment Enso jumps on him, pops the Unbreakable Will, all of a sudden, you know, Lava can't do any damage to him. And he just, you know, does a really good job, sends the Leona back to his team and allows Lemus free time on the ball lane, crashes the wave, walks between the tower and finds himself the solo kill into Chi-Chi.
Yeah, and take a look at the replay. I mean, it all kind of starts off with Enso just completely sending it again right, and he does go down, but I think things aren't so certain yet. You've lost this Leona, but there is still a lot of play around if Lalva can find a favorable engage. Kurak, though, countering it perfectly.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is they're trying to look for this trade back, but, you know, Fido has the inside track. He's first to this fight, and he's a difference maker. Maybe if Minji was here a bit earlier, this could have been 2 kills that he got for himself, but it's not the case, and it's just going to be him getting the 1 kill onto Kurak. But yeah, what happened in mid here?
So there's no E on Zeri. I have to feel like it can't be that good of a trade, but the Requiem. Oh my god! Oh, it's so close.
He almost won that with the Karthus ult. That's the strength of, you know, having the combat summoner. The top lane, but Tien, can he get out of this one?
Oh, is he? Oh, does manage to dodge out of that Gnar ult. Lakai scratching his head, not so happy about how that went. Ultimately, it won't be the biggest deal. We'll have it now that he's level 11, pretty much back up by the time he gets his next Mega Gnar.
He's going to be recalling here, though. I assume he has a lot of money in his inventory based on what we're seeing in the items coming out of Tien already. He already has that Triforce completed, but yeah, here comes the Triforce out of the Kai now. So they are matched. Does have the Ninja Tabby's advantage. We'll be able to kite out the kill in the 1v1. Does have the individual advantage in the 1v1, right? So he should be able to win that side lane, but I think the rest of the map is going to be the scary point for, you know, J-Team. The 4v4 is very hard for them to match up into, especially with how strong Lemus is right now and how much engaged threat.
Look at the picture-in-picture. I mean, Lemus just killing Chi-Chi. Oh my god! It was another 1 Q away from Chi-Chi actually picking up that kill. There's so much action
Scary.
on the map, but it's Ground Zero
Scary.
narrowly winning everything.
Whew, this is a very stressful 5,000 gold lead that I'm seeing right now.
Yep. And it is going to be this Rift Herald, so a little bit of gold will be afforded back to J-Team, and China Crystal Arrow coming through, but going to be dodged away from. Actually connects there onto Lakai eventually in that top side. As Tien going aggressive. Hookshot now down, does have that flash available for himself, but he's locked up. Stranglethorns comes through. Lava going to get absolutely one shot there as Schönfire comes through the lay waste. Will secure that kill. Lakai kiting away, feels completely fine, not going to go down. Does have to be careful though, there is still going to be access to that Hextech ultimatum as Lemus goes aggressive. He's going to get taken out, but this is perfect. It's going to be that shutdown going over to the Leona. That's the perfect person to pick that up, and Lemus can't be too sad about that.
This is the classic Lemus. He is the player, no matter how fed he gets, will always continue to keep going forward, as you see Kurak going for an engage.
Yeah, Lakai, he does flash away. He's actually turning back a lot of damage now. Minganar going to be available for himself too as Enzo arrives here. It's a very nice solar flare, but Lakai not feeling confident enough to step up through this Kartha, through that wall of pain. It's going to be this tower going down. Ground Zero continuing to dominate the map.
Yeah, would you go in the replay Lemus on the midwave? Just, this is what the kind of player is. He doesn't care how fit he is. He will trade one for one with you. 1,000 gold or not, he is going to go in. He is going to find these kills, and this is why he's so exciting to watch as a player. He is no hesitation, foot in the pedal all the time, and he has the hands to back it up.
1-5-1 is Chi-Chi on this Israel. Getting gapped. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It is a pretty sizable bot gap as things stand. Lemus on your screen there, by far the most rich member of the team. 2k gold ahead of the next closest member of his team, let alone in the entire game, in Fido.
Shiny inventory full of items and a very shiny head to match for him there. And I really like Lemus, how he itemizes as well. He is a player who, tends to go for defensive items really early on in the game because, he recognizes that he doesn't need to be doing optimal damage. But Tien, once again, 1v2 on the side lane. Yeah,
does have the hook shot. He finds his way onto Lava. Lava going to kite away, though. That Requiem not going to be here to help. And Minji picks himself up, his second of the game. So J-Team, they're down, but they're not out. They're still finding play around the map. Rift Shield going to be dropped. They should be able to pick this tower before it crashes and look for a crash there on that inner. And no one here to answer. Kurak does recall as well as you see Fido pathing out to that top side. Minji, all right, this is a man that I can confirm does not have a forklift license.
No not forklift certified, not Cert 3 forklift certified. Yeah, we need to get the Scion, the Rift race. People need to trade here. The Schönfire getting caught has the flash though.
Yeah, it does. Managed to dodge out at least of the stun, get slowed up, but there is no follow-up. No one to punish that slowed up Karthus. And now, boy, oh boy, do I have a treat for you, Mr. Tally. Peer your eyes towards Leona and what item is purchased, and then look at what jungler he is against. As Chi-Chi is actually, he's going to live this time.
More aggression out of Lemus, but yeah, that is not a Locket being purchased. And then we have based Kurak, Locket Enjoyer into the the AoE that's going to come out of the Zyra, even the Zerial, very predictable. A lot of predictable AoE damage to the enemy team on J-Team. So nice to see that he is going for that cheap item, gets him online as soon as possible. But there's a very cheap, a very early Warmogs, right? You're used to seeing this item around the 20-21 minute mark, but this one is coming through at almost 17 minutes in the game.
Yes, it's not upgraded though. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the real main point, right? It's cool you have 1,000 extra health, but the whole point really isn't the fact you have extra health, because you'd probably rather just have the resistances ultimately. It is that passive, the ability to sort of make a bad play but then heal up. Is talking about bad plays, he's found himself caught out yet again. Has Enso. Teleport comes in from Tien to all but secure the deal. Philo does pick up that kill. He's 3-0-0 now on this mid lane. Lucian having a fantastic game for himself. But I mean, we can't talk about fantastic games without talking about Lemus. 7-1 is Lemus on this Ashe.
And a play like that tells me that Ground Zero have really adapted to their environment. We never saw plays like that in the LCO. The fact that they leave the neutral wave on top, they really punish Enzo for walking into river there and overextending with their teleports. This is not a summoner that you just use to get back to lane anymore. This is something that you use for TP flanks to find out members to create numbers advantage. And all of a sudden, Ground Zero are playing like an international team. They're not playing like a team who just wins all their lanes domestically and just outwallets the enemy team. They're using their overall macro, which I'm so excited about because that is what was so good about this team. Their mid game is what they really shine at.
And Schönfire there, maybe thinking he had first strike, kind of just popped the ult with nothing happening. And especially, I think, a little weird considering the Baron is spawning. You're not going to go sit there and immediately hit it, of course, but ultimately you find one kill you have a Karthus or you get someone low and you can secure a kill with that Requiem, it can lead to the Baron, but not going to have access to that for the next 2 minutes or so. I guess 90 seconds at this point, but hopefully all things will be okay. We'll be back in time for a potential third Dragon and Soul Point for Ground Zero if they choose to go for that objective.
Actually curious though, I don't know if it was a misclick or he saw someone recalling and he wanted to cancel a base, but he had no reason to press the Requiem there that I saw. And, you know, there is the objectives coming up. 2 minutes till the Dragon though, but they are grouping up for this tower here. They do not want to dive, obviously. It talks about how the front to back is quite hard to deal with, but, you know, Schoenfire grouping out, throwing down the Wall of Pain. As he gets more levels, this is going to become, you know, such an important spell. It's so, the range is huge, the cast range is massive, and the fact that it is this huge AoE slow is so nice for Liam. Pair that with the Ashe, pair that with potential Engage, or pair that with the Culling. Really lines up with his team comp.
And right now is the perfect time for them to be grouping and trying to force an issue, right? Because ultimately, they've got their 2-item power spikes across the rift, excluding 10, which you don't really mind that much. But you have that Karthus 2 items, right? You have that mid lane, the Lucian has 2 items. Obviously, Lemus almost at 3 items. Whereas you look at the other side, Chi-Chi, not even with the Mirror Mounting yet. Talking about Chi-Chi, yeah, Arrowlands from Lemus, and this is a very dead Ezreal. Lemus going to secure that one, and maybe some pings towards this Baron. JT Mara up here to try and defend it. This mid lane tower is certainly going to be taken out first. But then what more? To
see if, you know, Ground Zero is a team who does like to start these objectives. They are not afraid to, you know, put themselves in a position for a potential, you know, smite flip. But obviously, based on how much control they have, they should not put themselves in a position where this is going to be a 50-50 smite. Yeah. They have to, you know, look for these turn opportunities.
Yeah, you don't have the Ashe ult, which can make this scary. It is also scary to be in the Baron pit up against the Leona, up against this Zyra, and you're seeing a lot of damage coming through. Lava trying to find his way into the pit, but it's going to be Fido who actually takes it out. And Lemus picking himself up a kill. Down will come this Requiem. Not really for anything in particular. Is Lakai even going to recall? Not going to look for any damage on that bot lane tower. And it's just everything coming up Ground Zero here as they find themselves at a very substantial 6k gold lead.
They pretty much just got away with murder there. We saw Kurak was trying his best to be able to get towards Zyra, keep her out of the pit, but, you know, he got knocked up, he got rooted, forced to play the Unbreakable Wheel early before he could get close to Zyra, and he was just CC chained out. But Fido has been TP'd on. Will the TP come out of TN?
It looks like Fido should be just completely okay. Lakai still going forward, does have a red buff, and here does come that teleport out of TN on this Camille. Lakai needs to try and find some way to get the Mega Nut up. Hookshot comes through. He doesn't have the time. Ground Zero punishing everywhere on the map. Anything J-Team tries to do, it's Ground Zero winning out. And now we're 4v5 against 5 members of the Baron here for Ground Zero. There goes the mid lane inner tower. Wave getting pushed up top. It can be defended here by Minji and by Enso, but what does that mean? It means the bottom side of your map is going to have 3 members strong versus just the 2. Minji going aggressive. Lightning Crash comes out 10. Going on in there, and they do get the flash out of this area. Hex Tech Ultimatum coming through. Stun up though is 10 as Minji trying to find the damage. Forward goes Fido, secures that kill. That's the support down. Kurak tries to find his way in, but unfortunately flashed away, and this could be one very dead Moo Cow, and it certainly is. So J-Team, they do find something back. That's going to be a kill onto Chi-Chi. He's now got that 2 items. He is reasonably strong if he can land those Mystic shots, the Essence Flux, but still, that's another inner tower going to Ground Zero.
Fido is piling towards the Dragon right now. We already see Lava starting this one up. Doesn't have the flash, does have the ult though, so he can potentially, you know, blow up this Lucian if he does face check him, but sees him right now. Culling almost off cooldown.
There goes the snare as well. This would be a perfect time for Fido to try and do something. Hook shot coming through, slowed up. 10 trying to find his way here onto Lava. Here goes the Strangle Thorns. He does have that Rylai's to try and delay. Stare even comes out, and culling might not be enough, but this Requiem certainly should do a lot of damage, and a lot of damage it definitely did do. Lakai is going to get that Mega, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from mid lane. Lemus, deadly accurate on this Ashe. He's deadly good at the game, and Lakai, he's sitting in that bush looking for something. But just Ground Zero, they're wise to it. They're not going to give anything over. They're just dominating every aspect of this game.
I know a Turkish man who won the silver medal for shooting at the Olympics, but the man who won gold is in your game right now. Lemus, the Turkish sniper, does not miss his Ashe arrows. Even in the LCO, we saw him constantly landing these cross-map arrows, and was the reason why Fido was winning his lanes a lot of the time. From these arrows that would just consistently land from bot lane. He's just someone who always lands these clutch arrows. Unfortunately, that time his team wasn't able to, you know, follow up on the Enchanted Crystal Arrow that did land, but if you continue to watch throughout this game, he's going to land even more crucial ones.
X-Flash being channeled here for Kurak. He mines his way in. Double man knock up. Kurak tanking up that tower, and with that Unbreakable Will, not going to take all that much damage, but he's not able to find anything more. Very, very low. Megadar comes out. We're not able to find that knockback, though. The flash away is good for Lemus. The cleanse is great as well. It's a 1-for-1. Minji trying to find 1 onto 10 as well. Won't be able to do so, but he is able to turn his attention around, and 3 members do go down for the side of J-Team, but they do answer back with 2 of their own. It's a fairly even fight, but J-Team somehow holding on. It's still ground zero, though. They're gradually increasing that lead, but you're having to be a little scared now of Minji on the Zeri.
You definitely should be afraid of Minji, but this is still ground zero ahead. Pulling the trigger, Kurak very happy to go in and put himself on the line. He's happy to die for these fights. He just wants to set up these skirmishes. Tien can't go in based on how low he is in health, but, you know, Shonfire being and the fact ground zero still win this one out. It's just thanks to how far ahead they are in these, overall game. And, we did see Lemus on the end of this teamfight base and pick up his Infinity Edge. So he does have 4 items in his inventory against the 2.5 of Chi-Chi and even Minji. The main win condition left for J-Team right now cannot match up to the DPS that he's outputting.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But there is a 3-minute window now where Lemus can kind of not play aggressive, right? He does not have the cleanse. He does not have the flash. And we are going to have this Gnar flash well before that flash timer of Lemus. So very, very scary couple of minutes here for the side of ground zero, because you're seeing it right there, right? This gold lead is almost all piled in that 80 carry position. He's 6k ahead of Chi-Chi on the Israel. They are only up, well, they're up 10k gold, which is another extra 4, but, a lot of that is coming through Phyto, which is not that much ahead of Minji, and the jungle position, and ultimately Zyra at 2 items, or, coming close to 3, surely in the near future. You're not feeling that weak. It has a lot to do with Lemus and his power. If you're able to find a shutdown onto this 80 carry, take Ashe out of the equation, then J-Team can find success. So really, ground zero, I think they have to slow down the pace just for a little bit of time, get Lemus comfortable with his summoners up, and then you can really push the issue again. But talking of, here comes a fight. That is such an immediate kill there onto Shernfire. Caught lacking, not enough vision, not enough knowledge on what's going on, and the Requiem does land, but it's not going to be all that substantial amount of damage as J-Team. They're going to alleviate pressure for just that much longer.
And that's the best case for J-Team, right? They got the Karthus ult out. They caught the Karthus. The Baron is going to spawn in 40 seconds. There probably won't be the Karthus ult up, at least for another 30 seconds after that one does come.
That is such a funny graphic.
Does top the damage after dying, but yeah, as you were mentioning, J-Team has a window now to get a sneaky ward on the top side of the map. Obviously, the next objective is this Baron. They need to find a flank ward for Lakai to, get that Mega Gnar, get a flank onto Lemus, and find him out before those summons come back.
Well, Lemus doing so much damage here to Enso. Does have to be careful, though. That Solar Flare, not available, but the Flash certainly is. And then Charlie Cristero comes through, does land. It's going to be onto Enso. The engage coming through. Lemus, he's going to be completely fine. It's now a 4v4 if any fight breaks out. Shernfire going to be able to respawn and join his team. Chi-Chi, on aggressive now, realizes the hook shot down.
Still the flash on the Zyra, so, if ground zero are going to start this one again, Lemus not going to take any damage. We're going to solo this Baron out, but there's still going to be another 50-50 flip if they do not track where Lova is and force him out of the pit. They need to get Kurak to mark him, and, Lakai's Mega Gnar is running out here, so the team fight is very
just
hard.
Walked into the pit, but it's a nice headbutt. Is he able to get in? He is, it's fine. It's Shernfire who does pick it up. Minji, he's caught lacking, he gets stunned up. Fido takes the kill. It's 2v5 for ground zero to end game number 1. Respawn will come through for that support for Enso as Lakai's trying to deal with this minion wave. But ground zero, they have so much time to try force the issue. There's so much time until Minji respawns. Lolva as well. That's the majority of their wave clear. This Israel, only single target damage, and not even got that as it's the max range ult coming through again. And Lemus can make no errors as ground zero will take game number 1.
This should be a very comfortable end of ground zero, and I also watched Shernfire have to flash might steal the Baron away from his own team. Surprised that was going to come down to such a close case, but a very comfortable game of the ground zero. Overall, really well played. Obviously, Tien was the one to fall behind, but sort of, worked to make sure that gap wasn't too big or a very, worrying issue for the team going forward. And this is just overall a really strong laning phase, and we see Lemus telling his team to calm down because the job's not done yet.
That's right, but I mean, you've got to be a little bit excited, right? That was a very, very dominant performance there in our first game of the series, and when you start that well, you have to be somewhat confident. You don't want to let it get to your head immediately. We saw what happened to Frank yesterday when that happened. But, I mean, you have to be confident. That was an absolute shellacking. There's no other word I can use to describe what just occurred.
Yeah, that was just, perfect. The main concerns, if you're a Ground Zero fan, was for the mid lane, right? We know that Minty's a really good player. We weren't sure how well Fido was going to do, but I think Fido had a pretty immaculate game there, right? Didn't really have any mistakes besides that one case in the mid lane where he dashed forward and had to blow his flash. But I think performed really well in the Lucian. Churnfire, even an Urs would, clear his camps and be greedy for too much of the, getting this lead.